Samoa, the forgotten jewel of the Pacific. Tucked in the heart of the South Pacific, Samoa is the kind of destination where nature feels untouched by hurry, where culture breathes with quiet pride, and where every sunrise feels like the beginning of something new. Samoa's beauty is unapologetically bold. The coastline unfurls with white sand beaches kissed by turquoise lagoons. Inland waterfalls tumble from jungle-covered cliffs that Faha Samoa, or Samoan way, surround you at every step.
Hey there everyone, I'm Don, Professor Goway, and welcome to the Goway Pro Travel Tale Podcast. Travel far and travel often.
Hey there everyone, thank you very much for joining us today for the Goway Pro Travel Tales podcast series. I've actually been away for about a month traveling to Africa, and that's not what we're talking about today. We are going to talk about Samoa. Little island or chain of islands, if I'm correct, and I'll confirm that with Losa, our guest, in a minute, in the Pacific Islands chain group, often overlooked by many people, Australians going to that area of the world, which is their playground, as the Caribbean is for North Americans. So we're here today to discover all there is to know about Samoa. And joining us is Losa Warwork from the Tourism Board of Samoa. She's head of sales and marketing. Welcome, Losa. How are you today?
Talofa, Don, Mr. Don. Thank you for having me on board. And talofa from Samoa. It's a beautiful sunny day at Samoa. And all is well as we prepare for our Independence Day celebrations next week.
Yeah, you just mentioned that before we came on air, so to speak, that where Losa's sitting, she's saying there was some noise. I didn't hear it, but about 2 minutes later, we heard a marching band go by her window, and she informed me that it's the police marching band. And Monday to Friday, they march from the police station down to the town hall, I think you said. Is that correct? Or no, sorry, down to Government House,
correct,
where they raise the flag. So that's done every day, regardless whether it's Independence Day,
not on
correct?
Independence Day. That's when it's not on Independence Day. But usually from Monday to Friday, every morning, we have the Samoa Royal Police Band marching for flag raising.
Oh, lovely. Now, also joining us, though she's having a bit of internet trouble at the moment, will be Meg Boyd, our product manager for the South Pacific. And Meg just recently visited Samoa, so we want to get her input from a traveler's point of view. She's trying to log on. If she can, she'll join us. If not, we can catch up with her another time. As always, before we get into the Q&A of our subject matter today, we always like to get to know a little bit about our guests. So, Losa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I gather you are Samoan born and bred, but how you got into tourism, how you found yourself in the role that you have now representing Samoa to the world.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bob. That's an interesting question. I used to work in the private industry with selling food for over 20 years. And then I joined the Samoa Tourism Authority 2 years in 2023 on July. And it's been an exciting experiences, learning experiences, understanding our local industry as well as, and Samoa as a whole. I didn't understand how many landmarks and sites and attractions that Samoa has, all these unique experiences that you can, that we offer. And so it's a privilege to be part of that, to be able to showcase that to other global market. So I am.
And as I inferred in my question, you are. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was my question. You are from Samoa. You are Samoan born.
At Samoa Tourism, I have a team, 14 staff that responsible for promoting and marketing Samoa at our source key markets. So our primary markets is Australia and New Zealand, and our key long haul markets is North America, UK, Europe, and China. So North America market is one of our main markets that we were looking forward to, working with and promoting and attracting more visitors.
And we'll get into some of the logistics for North American travelers getting to Samoa. A couple of interesting facts now. It's 4:00 in the afternoon here in Toronto, where I'm recording this with Losa, and she mentions good morning. So it's first thing in the morning. Some interesting facts. Samoa is the first country in the world to see the new day. So I am talking to Losa in the future. It's what does it say? Wednesday here, so it's Thursday where she is. And I also believe that Samoa does not have any dangerous snakes or spiders. Is that true?
That's correct. Samoa is very safe.
Oh,
We don't
very good. Oh, and Meg's just joined us. She's looking much clearer in her
Yeah, hi guys.
in her video feed, and hopefully we can hear her clearly as well. So, Meg, we've already begun. There we go. We've already begun. I made an introduction for you that you would be joining us shortly, so we will loop you into our conversation as we get going. I was just touching on some of the interesting facts about Samoa, one being it's the first country in the world to see the new day, no snakes or spiders, which is cool if you don't like creepy crawlies. And I understand also that more Samoans live outside the country than inside the country.
That's correct. There's over 200,000 Samoans living on the island, and over 200,000 Samoans living. And just in New Zealand alone, it's over 100,000, and it just gets, and it's well in Australia. So,
right. So I assume there's quite a tight connection, both culturally and economically, between Samoa and New Zealand.
Correct. We have a very strong, much more bilateral relationships with Australian government. We are one of the partners that support the tourism sector.
Right. So, Meg, as we're going to bounce around here a bit as well. So, from a country combination point of view, Samoa would be a good add-on, or in reverse, New Zealand would be a good add-on to Samoa. So those two countries together would be a popular country combo?
It is, and especially with the air connection from North America. So you've got Air New Zealand flights into Auckland and then really easy connections across to Samoa. And while we're on that topic, Fiji Airways as well. So you can fly down to Nandi from North America, both Canada and the USA, and connect really easily over to Apia. It's just under 2-hour flight. And you can also combine it with Australia as well. So there's non-stop flights as well from not every city, but cities in Australia across to Samoa as well. So they're all good combinations,
Yeah, as I mentioned to our listeners earlier before you joined us, that the South Pacific, the islands, Fiji, Cooks, Tahiti, Fiji, etc., are the playgrounds for Australians and Kiwis. So to your point, there's lots of direct lift from Australia and New Zealand. So you mentioned going via Fiji or via New Zealand. Can you fly directly from North America into Samoa?
You cannot, no.
Okay. So that means if anyone's looking to get there from US or Canada, you need to look at one of those other destinations. So again, automatically that brings into your conversation with your destination specialist a country combo option as well, 2 or maybe even 3, Australia, New Zealand and Samoa, of course. Rosa, I understand that Samoa was once referred to as Western Samoa. Is there a reason for that?
That's right. So Samoa was, there are 2 Samoas. The other Samoa was as under the American territory. It's part of the American territory, and is now known as the American Samoa, and that's the Eastern Samoans, Eastern Samoan Islands. The Western Samoan Islands were, what's the word? They were under the New Zealand territory, and then we gained independence in 1962. And now we're called the independent states of Samoa.
Independent states of Samoa. Okay, so we've discussed how to get there. We jumped ahead on our question order.
We did forget one option. Fiji Airways also have a connection from Honolulu weekly as well.
Ooh. That's right. So Samoa's main gateway is Paleolo International Airport in Polu, but you can fly through Air New Zealand via Auckland, Fiji Airways via Nandi, or direct from Honolulu, or Qantas or Virgin Airways via Brisbane.
Okay. So that's a good one for our North Americans, because we do have a lot of people, obviously most people on the contingent US and Canada always look at Hawaii as a destination unto itself. So again, there's another combination. You could do Hawaii and Samoa, but there is obviously a lot of Americans living in Hawaii who are looking beyond their home turf for a Pacific getaway. So that's good to know, straight from Honolulu. Meg, you mentioned Apia, so that I assume is the main gateway in. And what's the airport code for Apia, please?
APW.
APW. There, all the agents out there who need to look it up. Goway can help you with your air, because we're also an air consolidator as well, if you want to get people into the South
I
Pacific.
was actually
Sorry?
well, sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you there. I was actually talking to one of our specialists this morning who's just finalising a 1-month booking, and they're doing Cook Islands, Tahiti, Samoa, and Tonga. So any combo really is an option.
And again, as I mentioned, we're not air wholesale. We can handle what we would term complicated or complex air in regards to getting people around the Pacific, obviously with the goal of getting you into Samoa. I did mention, Lawsa, in the beginning of my introduction, I said Samoa, the island, but I then corrected myself, the island chain. So excluding American Samoa, how many islands are there within the chain of Samoa?
So Samoa is made up of 10 islands. But the two largest and most populated islands are Polu, which is the home to the capital Apia, and Savaii, which is known as the Big Island. And these are connected, and these two islands are connected by ferry.
By ferry, okay. So either Loss or Meg, when you go to Samoa, are you looking at just really spending your time on one island, or would you be mixing your time between two islands, or the two islands that you mentioned?
We highly recommend visiting both islands.
Okay.
With Polu Island, both islands have many attraction sites. But with the Savaii Island, if you're looking at the authentic culture that Samoa was 20 years ago, you'll find all that live and practiced daily in Savaii. So we really recommend both islands to have that overall 360.
The overall Samoa immersion. Fair enough. Meg, how many days do we package or recommend for someone to experience Samoa?
It really can vary depending on the air access. If somebody wants to do a stopover, you wouldn't want to do anything less than, sort of en route somewhere. That's a hard question, Don. I would say really to do it justice, you'd want to do at least 5 nights to give you the option to visit both islands, but if you've only got a couple of nights, you could do you could fly into Apia and do, at least 3 nights to give you 2 full days. But I would, honestly, if you're going to do it, I would say I would try to go at least 5 if you can, 4 or 5 at a minimum.
Right. Now, you were just there on a FAM, correct? And if so, how long was the FAM built around? How many was it? The 5-night thing you're referring to?
Yeah, we were away for just over a week. It's about 9 days altogether, and that did include a 2-day trade show. And I felt like the 5 days touring that we had did give us a really good overview. Saying that, though, that didn't really include sort of any downtime. So if you wanted just a couple of days to just sit at your resort, lie on the beach, have a spa, those extra days would give you that little bit more leisure time.
Okay, so Lossa, because a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly what Meg said. I feel like if you really want to enjoy some more at a relaxed pace, we highly recommend a 70 days itinerary.
7 days. Okay. So for those out there who will be listening to this podcast for information on Samoa because it's new to them, and again, I think they'll be a vast majority of our agents, because they will be better versed on your big brothers and sisters, being Fiji and Tahiti in particular. How would you position Lossa Samoa compared to Fiji and or Tahiti? Is it less expensive? Is it more cultural? Is it easy to get around? Like any of those things that would draw someone away from the more well-known Pacific islands?
Right. Well, Samoa is less commercialized and just more culturally reserved than our peers. We are rooted in Samoa, and it's a living traditional culture that just emphasizes our community our ceremony and our respects. If you're looking for something that's uncrowded, it has the natural landscapes, the high value packages, and deep cultural immersion at competitive prices, Samoa is ideal for you. It's Samoa's best enjoyed as a standalone destination. We have enough depth in cultural, nature, wellness, and adventure experiences for a full itineraries.
Okay, so most people will automatically think of the Pacific Islands as places to rest and relax, as well as the wellness and adventure, of course, and the culture, which we'll discuss in a minute. But does Samoa match it? And this is for either of you, Meg or Losa. Does Samoa match it when it comes to the resort options that you would get in Fiji and Tahiti in particular, or is it again a bit more sort of rustic in its offerings when it comes to accommodation?
Oh, accommodation. We have a wide range of accommodations. We offer unique experiences at an open beach, open traditional fale at the sea, which we call beach fales, to the air-conditioned villas, resort at the resorts and hotel rooms. So there's a whole range of accommodation. International brands and locally run properties can offer options for all budgets.
Okay, so basically, when people, be it agents or their clients, approach them and they say, "Has Samoa got what Fiji and Tahiti can offer?" the simple answer is yes, they can.
Yes, that's right. We have deluxe accommodation. We have superior standard right to their beach bodies.
And I guess
Meg,
too, what's nice too
yes,
is a lot of the resorts are a lot smaller. Like you can get some of these hotels in, Fiji, and the bigger resorts can have, 300 rooms. Samoa's not like that. It's a lot more personal. And, quite often you're spending more time with the staff, you're getting to know the staff a little bit more. I would have to say, I mean, Samoa doesn't have, with comparing it to Tahiti has, many, many, many resorts with many, many overwater bungalows. That's probably the main difference. Samoa does have overwater fales. I was lucky enough to stay in one at a property called Coconuts, and it was gorgeous. But that's probably the only big difference, I would say.
Okay. Well, that to me personally sounds like a positive difference in that it's, and again, something Losa mentioned. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was recently at a resort in Fiji and they could do 1,000 covers for breakfast in the morning. It was chaos, and you just don't get that in Samoa. It's a lot more peaceful and laid back and relaxed.
And it's a lot of value added because $1 US is 2 tala, 18 Samoa tala. And the range for our deluxe hotels is 400 Samoa tala. So that's 200 US. So it's very competitive, very affordable.
Okay, so in general terms, and again, I know there are exceptions to every general statement, but you could look at Samoa when you're comparing, or if an agent is asked this question, that it is smaller in a positive way, less commercialized, less touristed, and very, very affordable for what you get. And what you can get is equal to the other islands.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's a big plus, particularly for our agents out there looking to sell the Pacific and looking for people who, in this day and age, everyone's very budget conscious. So that's an easy one to direct people to. So we just discussed accommodation is on par with everything else. So we've just discussed how the accommodation is on par and equal to, and if not better in some circumstances, to the other islands in the Pacific. Samoa is part of the Polynesian family culturally. So when someone's looking to go down there, would they find a huge cultural difference in Samoa versus some of the neighboring island chains?
Yes, very much so. We have a real live for a culture. We will see that the day you arrive, as you drive to Apia City from the airport, you will experience all the villages. And the villages, you'll be able to see them engage in traditional practices, watch them in their ceremonial experiences where the Matai chiefs, which is the chiefs that look after the different villages, you're able to experience that and see that. You're engaged in adult cultural tours where you do for a traditional tattooing, weaving, engage in traditional preparation of food, where we wrap our organic food with taro leaves and breadfruit leaves, and you for being able to participate in umu demonstration, which is an oven, earth oven cooking method, where we heat up the rocks, put our local produce there and our fresh seafood, and then bake it. After 1 hour, it's beautiful, it's fresh, it's it's amazing. And all this you're able to experience. Our Fifia Nights is very popular highlight, and it's available at nearly all of our deluxe hotels, where the visitors can enjoy dancing and feast on local food and watch cultural performances such as our Siva Samoa and our fire dancing. Or meet the locals, go to a village, have them meet the locals, see how they live and how they, watch how they cook their food and that. So, and their ceremonies, all this is available to our visitors.
Okay. So Meg,
beautiful.
Sorry, Lisa. So Meg, if someone's looking at Samoa as a destination, would they be, I shouldn't ask, let me rephrase that. When a client comes to a travel agent, one of our partners, and says, hey, I'm considering Samoa, do we pitch it as this is a place like basically a flop and drop, or it's an adventure thing, it's a culture thing? That sounds very, very cultural, what Lossa just mentioned to us. So to me, it would be an active destination as well as offering the opportunities to flop and drop. Is that fair?
That's how I would position it too. It's definitely more than just, go and lie on the beach for 10 days. There is a lot of beautiful natural scenery to see, but it's also not, you don't need to be, you're not climbing up mountains or, anything like that. So
Right.
it's accessible. So it's accessible, beautiful scenery. Yeah. With the option to, spend a bit of time in a spa and get a massage and spend some time on the beach. But, it's not man-made attractions, it's all nature.
Yeah.
Lovely.
The scenery was beautiful. And it's interesting too, just talking about culture, we found pretty much everywhere we stayed, we found the locals were actually coming up and actually asking us, where are we from? Why are we visiting? We found everyone really, really engaging. I guess, and Losa will probably agree, some of the biggest travelers in Samoa are actually Samoans. So the resorts are full of local people, or maybe people that have moved overseas and are coming home to visit friends and relatives and families. Really friendly, really curious, and we chatted to a lot of people. It was really friendly.
Yeah, I think this it like the more you ladies are explaining to me, the more it sounds like it's a plus that it is not one of the big islands, the famous islands, because it's been overlooked for so long that it still retains that old world quality, and it's quieter and people are more open to the travelers and the tourism, the globetrotters coming through. So it sounds like, for me anyway, a destination I'd definitely love to see. Now, we mentioned the two big islands and they're connectable with ferries. Each of these islands, when you're there, Lossa, and you're getting around to, explore the nature or, visit a local community, how do people get around? Is it buses, private transfers? Is there any inter-island air, or is it all of the above?
Well, all of the above, actually. We have, like I mentioned, there's an inter-island ferry between Upolu and Sava'i. We have our local buses, which are very colorful and low cost and cash only. Taxis and car rentals available. We really highly recommend self-driving, because it's easy to drive around and it's safe and it's a scenic drive, and it's also easy to obtain a temporary license. At our airport booth, upon arrival, you'll be able to obtain a temporary license, or when you're in town and up here, just come to our information file and you're able to get that temporary license. So, yeah.
So if you rent a car, you need to have the temporary license. You just can't rent it on a US or Canadian driver's license? You did, okay. Yeah, I'll ask again. So if someone is looking to self-drive around Samoa, you mentioned a temporary license, so they need that to hire the car, or I guess in other words, often, like when I was in the Cook Islands, I could hire the car just using my Canadian license. That's not the case for Samoa. You need this temporary license.
Yes, you do. Well, for New Zealanders and Australians, and I need to check with Canadians, but in New Zealand, Australia, they can use their license for 30 days. But for majority of visitors, you can obtain a temporary license.
Is there a cost for that
for only
temporary
10
license?
It's 10 tala, Samoan tala, and so that would be only $5 US.
Okay, no problem. That's
Lois is correct. What I took away too is the villages. They're so well maintained and manicured, and we were told that it's almost like a competition between villages as to how pretty they are. I don't know if you can insert videos in the podcast, but I actually took some from inside our vehicle. They're gorgeous. The gardens, and it's like nothing else I've seen in the South Pacific. It's very beautiful scenic driving.
And that's so true. We actually have a natural beautification program, and it's an inter-village competition on how to maintain and keep Samoa beautiful, keep it clean. So that is an active program that we run annually, and it's usually when we have our Te Wila Festival in September, and that's when we announce the winners for each villages. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, and that's impressive, because the South Pacific Islands just on their own are gorgeous without adding to that. So if if the Samoans are taking it up a level, I can only imagine. And I will, for anyone watching our video podcast, I'll overlay some of the video that Meg just mentioned of her when she was there. So we've touched on some of the accommodation choices. What are the main things to see and do? Now, you both generalize in, beautiful scenery, this type of thing, cultural experiences. Are there any specific things that people should do when they're in Samoa?
Well, there's so many things, but I'll just mention some main ones. So you can go at Tosua Trench, Ocean Trench, which is a stunning 30-meter natural swimming hole. And this was formed by a collapsed lava tube. It features clear turquoise waters, and it's accessible via a wooden ladder. There's also our Papaitai for waterfalls and other rainforest waterfalls. We recommend Tonginga Waterfall, which is a bathing spot used to be a bathing spot for Samoan warriors. Now it's a scenic waterfall that flows into a natural swimming pool for a real peaceful retreat. We have our Lalomanu Beach, and Lalomanu Beach has been voted numerous times as one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. It's situated on the southeastern side of Upolu, and it's renowned for its pristine white sands, clear crystal turquoise waters, and vibrant coral reefs. So it's also ideal for swimming, snorkeling, and just relaxing at the beach valleys. We have our Alofa'anga blowholes, which is they are located on the Savai Island, which is the other island, big island, and it's also known as the Tanga blowholes. They're formed by ancient lava flows, and these blowholes are connected to the ocean through a series of lava tubes. So when the waves crash into the lower ends of the tubes, the seawater is forced upwards up to heights of 30 meters. And we have our Piula cave pools. This is our natural freshwater swimming spots that are located beneath a historical Piula Theological College, and it features clear, cool waters and a short passage connecting two caves. So these are popular destinations for our locals and visitors, our local villages, our cultural centers. We have the Samoa Cultural Village, which is open from Tuesday to Friday for 2 hours, where our visitors can watch the cultural performances, our siva, our fire dancing, weaving, tattooing, LA pattern where you'd make handicrafts and that, as well as our oven earth demonstration. So there's so much to do for any visitors, and as well. And another very unique thing for us is our wellness treatment spas, where we use a lot of our organic local products for spa treatments. So much to do.
Okay. So I was going to ask about wellness, but you just answered. So that's an option. Meg, do we have any itineraries built specifically for wellness for Samoa at this stage?
Not specifically for wellness, no. I could look at that, but the properties that we do sell, most of them do have spa and wellness facilities, but I haven't put anything together particularly for wellness.
Right. Okay. But again, as you've both just said, it is an option down there. And if an agent gets a call about someone wanting to focus on wellness down there, we can obviously build an itinerary with that being the main focus. You've mentioned the currency. Now, if a North American's coming in, can they use US dollars?
No,
You
do.
Um,
I use my credit card in most places, and you can get local cash, but no, not US dollars.
Not US dollars. If anyone is traveling in Australia or New Zealand and they have any leftover currency of Oz or Kiwi dollars, can they use those in Samoa?
You'd have to change it to local currency. That's my understanding. The value for money, though, is extraordinary. Just going back to wellness, I did the morning that I left, I treated myself, I had a 90-minute massage, and it was only about 65 Canadian dollars. I didn't want to leave. It was beautiful, and that was at a hotel, so that's normally a more expensive place to get a massage. So it was incredible.
Okay, so for those who are looking at visiting, you want to be using your credit cards. I guess you can withdraw cash from ATMs, local currency, but really it's the local currency if you're going to use cash that you want to be focusing on. Losa, is Samoa a LGBTQ plus friendly destination?
Good question. Well, Samoa is a conservative Christian society, and same-sex relationships are legal, but we recommend that open displays of affection may not be culturally accepted. So we do advise our LGBTQ travelers to be respectful and low-key in public.
Okay, and I think that's a fair enough request. I think that community's biggest issue is their safety, and I think you've already answered that question. Samoa is a safe country for everyone. So, like any country you visit, just respect the local culture. It may not be what you agree with, but you're visiting them, so respect their local culture, and that is perfect. You mentioned, you did mention in the things to see and do down there, a lot of water sports. When you mentioned all the things to see and do, you mentioned a lot of water sports. I was asking about sailing opportunities in and around the islands, be it a one day or an extended stay on a vessel. And I would assume by extension, there's some very good diving down in and around Samoa.
We do have diving operators, mainly on, there's a good one at the Savai Fo'i Island. It's the chopping fishing. So they do fishing expeditions as well as diving tours. So we do have some really good Fo'i diving operators.
Yeah, I forgot to mention or ask about the fishing because there are a lot of people who do enjoy fishing.
Fishing is definitely an option. Alpi is also quite a popular cruise port down in the South Pacific as well. So you will quite often find, extended cruises that do pop into Samoa for a day.
Oh, okay. That's actually a beautiful segue. A question for Losa. Well, for both of you, for that matter, I would assume that Samoa is able to handle groups, be it small or large. If they're handling cruise ships, by extension, I think the country can. And are there also any big events that people should look at, maybe designing a trip around? Now, you mentioned Independence Day is coming up, but are there any other events for individual travelers or for groups to be aware of?
Well, yeah, thank you. Okay, so Samoa hosts various cultural festivals. I mentioned the Te Rina Festival that we host annually in September, where we have all our cultural performances and where we host our Miss Samoa pageant. We have our Independence Day celebration on the 1st of June and our White Sunday for a White Sunday event in October. And this is a very special national event where we celebrate our children and everyone wear white to church. And the children will have performances at church, and afterwards the adults will serve the children during a tona'e, which is a Sunday feast. So this is a very special event for us, but it's also Easter. On Good Friday, we have our Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Christmas holidays. But for our additional niche for events, we have our waterfront events every month. Once a month, we have our night markets at the waterfront where we have all our for local performers and dancers. We have the Palolo Rising, which is a special for a sea worm delicacy that they only come up in October, so everyone goes out and celebrate this delicacy. We have our fishing tournaments, our annual fishing tournaments, for where we invite a regional for events that it's hosted in Samoa, the fishing. So there are lots of different events.
Okay, so again, it sounds like a small 2 islands in particular, packing a big punch with things to see and do. So, Meg, in respect to what we being Goway can offer, now generally speaking, we can offer everything that's out there within reason. But historically, have we had Samoa as part of our product offering over the years, or is it new to us? Or if we have had it over the years, are we obviously now looking to shine a brighter spotlight on Samoa?
That's exactly it. It has been part of the portfolio for a long time. I guess after COVID, it took a little while to get things going again. But, with our arrangement now with the Samoa Tourist Authority, there's definitely a much bigger focus. So I have increased the product range. I put together, a couple of Samoa-only vacations, a couple of combo vacations as well with Fiji. I've got a New Zealand one coming soon. So you're definitely going to see more of a focus. And it's definitely featuring a lot more of our marketing activity at the moment.
Okay. Now, for those who work with Goway, you might know, and if you don't, I'll tell you that we will often package product with air, because again, going back to an air consolidator. And the queen of air and land is Meg, because we have such strong contracts with our South Pacific partners, air partners. Okay, so Meg just cut out on us, but she was mentioning attending a service there. Now, I did the same thing in the Cook Islands, so I'm assuming it's the same type of vibe, Lossa. So it's a very family-oriented culture by the sounds of it. Everyone now in the Cooks, everything shuts down on a Sunday. Is it the same for Samoa, that it is like a true day of rest and everyone sort of focuses on you? You're nodding very vigorously there. Yes.
Everything closes on Sunday, and everyone goes to church.
Right.
And everyone's in white, and there's a choir practice. There's a different choir singers. There's the adults, the youth, the children. It's still very much. It's a real spiritual environment in there, So, it's still the same in Samoa. Nothing over.
Yeah, I must admit, my experience
in the villages the families still meet, and the villagers will get together for a Sunday feast. We call it a Sunday tona'e.
Sunday feast, yeah. Yeah, I'd say I must admit my experience of that in the Cooks was amazing. It was just such a beautiful experience. So I would assume also that travellers are invited or allowed to join the church service.
Correct. They can enjoy. They can visit any of it for a church for ceremonies. In fact, in Apia town, there's many for a church. There's a Catholic, for a Methodist, different church for a religious environment where they can just join for a visit and enjoy and experience it.
So that's also worth noting too on your itinerary planning. again, we won't go into the details of when each airline flies and what day, but just keep that in mind that, as Ross mentioned, on the Sunday,
I think,
you're
Don,
more than
you were
welcome.
asking me about whether Samoa's ideal for group travel. Yes, it is actually. Samoa's ideal for boutique incentive groups, wellness retreats, wedding parties, and adventures focused tours. We're also ideal for potential for a mice market. Last year we hosted the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in
Ooh.
October 2024, where King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla attended. So Samoa has the infrastructure to
handle the groups.
facilitate. Yeah, so it's great for small group travel that are looking for authentic, eco adventure and cultural depth experiences.
Okay. As I was mentioning, or as we were discussing, the church services on the Sunday and everything closes down. So just keep that in mind when you're planning your itineraries, that Sunday is a day of rest. So there'll be very little open or to do from a organized point of view other than just enjoy the culture and the welcoming people of Samoa. So again, just keep that in mind in itinerary design or when you're
But they
speaking
can
to your
go to
clients
swim.
about what to do.
They can still go and swim
Of course, yes.
at the waterfalls, at the beaches, and enjoy
Yes,
a
nature never
cocktail.
shuts down. So yeah. Well, you can always enjoy nature. It never rests. It's always open. Okay, so we're going to wrap up here now. Lossa, is there anything else you'd like to leave our listening audience with? Like, is there anything new or exciting coming up for Samoa in the near future or the sort of the distant future?
I'm sorry I
Didn't hear me?
didn't get that, but just to say that if you're looking for something different, if you're looking to relax and rejuvenate, you're ready for that new experience, for a more cultural and rich experience, Samoa is the perfect place for you. And it's cost effective, but you're able to enjoy a new experiences. We look for ecotourism, sustainable, community-based offerings. Thank you.
Samoa's got it. Well, it does sound like, as we've titled the podcast, the jewel in the Pacific that's often overlooked. And I think with what Goway's doing, with the effort that the Samoan Tourism Board is putting forth, that it will soon not be overlooked as it was. It sounds like now's the time to go before it becomes becomes too popular, which is never a bad thing for a tourism board. But I think you know what I mean. Like, get there now while it's quieter. I don't think increased tourism is going to change the heart and soul of this Pacific island country. Having not been there, but experienced similar cultural experiences and the feeling that you get when you visit the South Pacific Islands, I can only imagine it'll be even more so welcoming, warm, and it sounds like there's so much to do again in such a small space. As a standalone vacation, as a combination with Australia and or New Zealand or some of the other Pacific Islands, or coming directly out of Honolulu as well. So there's lots of choices in how to get there, lots of choices in accommodation, lots of choices in country combos, lots of choices of things to see and do as we've gone through, food, the whole thing. So basically Samoa is there waiting. We have the product for you. We can customize what we have. We have the airfares for you. And on that note, I'd like to thank Lossa from the Samoan Tourism Board for joining us today on her early morning on Thursday, and a upcoming happy Independence Day to you, Lossa, and to all the Samoans down there. And is there anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Come visit Samoa. We'll welcome you with our popular, warm generosity and hospitality.
And hospitality, of course, as we've had today. What a perfect way to end our podcast today. So everyone, again, thank you, Lossa, for joining us. Meg, who we lost, but yep, Meg's there to answer any questions you have, and always to you out there listening to us. Really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please reach out to Goway directly, or you can reach out to the Samoan Tourism Board if you have any questions there as well. We're here to help, as is Lossa, as is Samoa. And again, thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Pasoi Fua.